Well, for those of you who I haven't met, my name is Aimee and I'm the Care and Connection pastor here, and I feel a long way away from these guys. I feel like should we snuggle up? That's better. That feels good. As you know, this year we've been trying to get out and about into the community together, and one of the ways that we have been doing that is... Are you right?
It's just really weird.
One of the ways that we've been doing that is through community lunch. You've probably heard me talk about it before, but every Wednesday since Easter we've been putting on a free community lunch at 12:30 for anyone who wants to come. We've had a range of people come. We average between sort of 40 and 60 people each week, some from the community, some from River Life, and every week there is always somebody new come along. So Frankie, you're on team, you're one of our connectors when you're not studying. Tell us a little bit about why you wanted to join the team.
I guess at the start of this year I had a bit of a revelation from God, I guess, that he wanted me to start ministering more into the community, which was great, in line with our mission for this year as a church. And that looked like some pretty major life changes for me. So pretty much doing a 180 on my career, going back to study, but also was looking at where I was serving at church. And I met up with Aimee, who actually had invited me to a pastoral care team meeting, and I wasn't even on pastoral care.
It's because you're so good at it.
So, I thought community lunch just seemed like an awesome opportunity to connect with people who either aren't from church or aren't believers in a really natural way, just sharing a meal and chatting. And for me, getting connected into a church community was such a massive part of my coming to faith, so I feel like it's a privilege to be able to do that and create that kind of energy vibe.
And so we talk to different people every week. Some of them tell us hilarious stories. But what's really stood out to you this year, as you just, because it does sometimes seem like we're just sitting and just chatting over a meal, but what has really stood out to you as meaningful?
I think my favourite thing is just the diversity of people that we get showing up to lunch every week. I think for me, maybe it's a YA thing, it's very easy to stay in our circles, kind of not branch out a whole lot. So community lunch has been awesome to kind of get out of my comfort zone, talk to strangers, meet some people that I would never normally talk to, and you meet some characters. It's so awesome. And for people who know me, I love being in the company of our senior citizens. So there's lots.
Dave's.
Like Dave.
We love you, Dave.
It's just awesome.
It's good.
Meet some very cool people.
Well, Dave, on that note.
Thanks, Frankie.
We love you. You look after our street teams program. How has something like the community lunch, I guess, been a bit of a leverage or a segue towards something like street teams?
Yeah, it's wonderful with street teams because we meet people in our community who sometimes are very loosely connected to our church through a neighbour or through a friend. And so to be able to provide other things that we seem so valuable that they might not know about and they're seeking for is just a really valuable opportunity.
Because sometimes when we're at lunch, we get chatting with people, and it's a good opportunity to be able to, maybe just pray as we're talking and ask God, how else can we help people? And so we have referred quite a few people on from street teams, or from community lunch to street teams.
And vice versa. It's fun. It's really wonderful that there can be that mixing of ministries and opportunities to bless people.
Yep.
None of us are isolates, and so we've all got needs in different areas.
Yep.
And it's interesting how the simplicity of doing someone's yard is similarly the simplicity of eating together, and how much God can minister through that. And as we bless him as a team and as we pray for people, it's wonderful how God uses that.
And because sometimes going out and doing a street teams visit, it can be a big step then to invite people back to church. But if we can invite them to something like a community lunch, it maybe is a little bit easier for them to take that step of, I could do lunch, I could meet with people.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It is interesting how those things are so often very, very simple, but we can often take them for granted. To be able to have a table of like-minded people who are open to chatting and eating together is just such a powerful and a wonderful tool. Jesus did it all the time.
Yeah.
But I think similarly, just mowing someone's lawns and weeding their garden when they're in a time of need just opens the doors in an incredible way to be able to pray for people and really bless them.
It does. And we look for, really practical ways to help people. So this year we've also opened up a little room called the pantry. So when, we're chatting with people and we hear that maybe they are doing a little bit tough, we can also say to them, hey, can we bless you with some groceries? Do you need, some washing powder, some toiletries, things like that? And likewise, we can always take those out to street teams people as well, which is really great. So you guys are doing an awesome job. Community Lunch is growing. But what are you personally thankful for this year, Frankie? How has God been at work in your life?
I'm super thankful for just how God's been leading us this year into new things, exciting things, scary things, and also just the peace and provision that He's given us through all of that. So it's been an awesome year.
What about you, Dave?
Similarly, what I've just been sharing, how much we can minister to one another just by doing things that are simple. The power of sitting together and eating together is something that we take for granted often, and yet lots of people don't get that. They don't have a table, they don't have a seat, and they might be homeless, they might not have people around their table with them, they might be eating alone. So to be able to do that is just a really powerful, wonderful thing. People get overwhelmed by their lawns, by their yards, by the hedges, by the trees, and just are often just completely overwhelmed and stuck in their space. And to be able to come in with the tools and the capacity, I can't do it on my own. A team of half a dozen people gets the job done and we fill a trailer. And as someone said this morning, and they took all the rubbish away. Like you could just see how powerful it was. So I'm really thankful that we, as a church, are working together in different ways, and the way that we can bless one another in different resources and refer people to different things that they need.
So good. Well, we know that Community Lunch, it's regular, it's predictable, and it's a safe place. And so if you know of anybody who needs community or needs a little bit of help, come along, invite them with you, come along to Community Lunch. We're here every Wednesday until the 18th of December. That is our Christmas Community Lunch. You do need to RSVP because it's a very awesome lunch being provided. But if you do know of anyone, come along. We would love to see you. So yeah, thanks guys. Give them a hand.
So